Hello whiskey lovers, and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. And today on this beautiful spring day I would like to take you to a distillery in Holland. It is in Eaglesburn in Holland that you will find the historical building, the Arsenal. And inside the Arsenal there's plenty of shops and restaurants and whatnot, but in the basement you will find a craft distillery that was founded by Bart Joosten, who is part-time film editor and part-time distiller. Now Bart was kind enough to provide me with some video footage of his distillery, so while I am talking to you I will show you a little bit of imagery from the distillery that you can find in Eaglesburn. But in the meantime, let me tell you that that Eaglesburn distillery was founded in 2015 in Arnhem, but they moved to Eaglesburn to the historical building in 2016. The name of the distillery, however, Eaglesburn Distillery, is actually derived from the Latin word for the original city where the distillery was founded, Arnhem. Because Arnhem in Latin is actually Arenacum, and Arenacum actually means something like the place where the eagles roam, and hence Eaglesburn Distillery. Now, apart from the fact that I like this historical angle to Arnhem, Eaglesburn does sound quite Scottish, and I think this might actually help Bart Joosten to promote his product. But I don't think he really needs it, because as you will see, as I'm going to explain, Bart really knows what he's doing. Let me tell you why. He does everything himself, by the way, except for malting. For his unpeated malt, he goes to the Swan Maltings in Holland. For his peated malt, he goes to Castle Maltings in Belgium. But the distillery equipment is actually the ice still. You may have heard of the ice still. It is this new revolutionary still. It's also a Dutch invention, by the way, that is being used by many craft distillers, many of them actually in the US of A, but also more close to home in Scotland. You may have heard of the newly founded and already quite popular Dornoch Distillery. Well, Dornoch Distillery also uses an ice still. And so does Eaglesburn Distillery. So Bart actually invested in this ice still to create his spirits. Now, at this moment, what he does for maturation is, when he's done distilling, his spirit goes into 10-liter casks. So oak casks, most of them from Hungary. Oak casks, 10 liters, and then the spirit goes in there for 10 weeks. So there is quite a bit of interaction between the wood and the spirit, all these esters coming together, all these flavors, all this color. And then after 10 weeks, he recasks the spirit into 50-liter casks. So this is still not a hogshead or a butt, not at all. This is still a very small cask. He starts in 10 liters, and after 10 weeks in 50 liters. And then he leaves it to mature. How does the whiskey taste? Impossible to tell, because the whiskey will not be available until Christmas 2018, probably early 2019, because it has to mature, as you know, for at least 3 years and a day. What does he have at the moment? Well, the full range of what he sells is right here on the table. So obviously, like many craft distillers who are startups, they start with gin, because gin is easy to produce. And it can be sold without maturation, so it's a quick turnaround and provides the distillery with the means necessary to keep on producing until the whiskey has matured. So there is this the dry gin. It's the Eaglesburn dry gin, which, let's be honest, he's won a bronze medal. A gold medal in 2016 for his gin. There's also the Navy Strength gin, and Navy Strength in this means, of course, that it is bottled at 57% ABV. This Navy Strength dry gin also got a reward from Gin Your Way, 92 points. I'm not sure if you are familiar with Gin Your Way, but Gin Your Way is a Belgian gin blog run by my good friend Glenn van Bellingen. He knows a lot about gin, much more than I do, and if he scores this in 92, then this is something you need to try. But apart from the gin and the Navy gin, there's also the the barrel aged gin. This is bottled at 47%. So this actually was casked and left for 2 months. Oh, it's a little bit more, 47 days on this little barrel, hence the color. And finally, not only the gin, but there's also a rum, a cask aged rum. There you have it. So Eaglesburn distillery. If you're ever in Duisburg, go and visit them and try one of their drinks. It's really lovely, apart from the fact that it's a beautiful distillery. But on to the whiskey again. It's not whiskey yet, as you know, because it's not 3 years old. But there is already a limited release of his cask-aged spirit, and this is a special release. It's called Xenna, because Xenna is it's his niece. So it's a spirit that is only 1 year old. Excuse me. It's a spirit. I need a drink. There you go. It's a spirit that is only 1 year old, so it has matured on this 10-liter cask for 1 year. Hungarian 10-liter barrel for 1 year. It was distilled on the 6th of April 2016, and that's also when Bart's niece Xenna was born. And so he bottled this, a limited edition. I believe there's only 100 bottles of these. No filtration, so it's a bit like a raw cask. No filtration, no coloring, of course. It got this color from the little cask in just a year. And so it was bottled on the 6th of April 2017, not too long ago, which is actually Xenna's first birthday. I thought that was a nice gesture for Bart to his niece. So this is the, well, embryonic whiskey, let me put it that way. This is the spirit that will go on to become a new Dutch single malt. It is bottled at 53%, and it will be quite some years before Xenna herself, the girl, can actually try it. But we already can. So 53% ABV, beautiful copper color. So imagine that, only 1 year in a small cask, and it's got this beautiful color on the nose. Beautiful sweet malt with a lot of plums in there and some oranges. I also get some red fruit and some licorice. And oak shaving. So while it is clearly young, it has already a lot of layers in there. Quite nice indeed. On the palate then. Mm. 53%. It shows. Quite powerful upon arrival. Very spicy. The fruitiness is the same as on the nose. I get some plums, some oranges, but I also get some red berries in there. But a truck load of nutmeg. Very spicy indeed. Licorice is there as well. And there's even a salty hint in there, but it's gone before you know it. But this is quite flavorsome. This is not new makey at all. Even after 1 year. Wow. On the finish then. Very long. Feisty. Spicy. Wow. Wonderful. If you taste this blind, you would be forgiven to think that this is already like 6 or 8 or maybe even 10 years old. It's lost all of the typical new makey notes like cooked cabbages and that sort of thing. All the esters have been formed and then some. And they already give this Xenna, this spirit, this 1 year old, a beautiful depth and complexity. So this is something to look out for. Well done, Bart, indeed. Well done. I hope that your spirit will survive the next 2 years on the 50-liter casks, because this is already very. It's got a lot of flavor already, so let's not get it over oaked, eh? But I'm sure that Bart knows his stuff, so he will keep a lookout and he will know what to do with it. But I am definitely marking Christmas 2018 in my calendar, because that's when I'm going to be in touch with Bart again and get one of the first releases of his new Dutch single malt. Well done indeed, something to look out for. I remember a previous video that I didn't do that long ago, which was also from a Dutch spirit, which was absolutely disgusting. So you will imagine my apprehension in approaching your products, Bart. But I have to say, when I first tried it, totally honest, I was flabbergasted. I did not know this was possible after only 1 year. So very good indeed, very good indeed. I'm very much looking forward to your single malt release. And that's all for this Whiskey Rambling, the 1 year old Xenna cask-aged spirit from Eaglesburn Distillery, a new player, a new kid on the block in Duisburg, Holland. Looking forward to that. And that's all for this Whiskey Rambling, and I hope to see you at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings real soon. And until then, may the malt be with you. Bye bye.